Right, so in today's video what we are going to be doing is giving this space a small renovation. We're going to be scalping it down, we're going to be scarifying some of the thatch out and thinning the sward ever so slightly. We're going to overseed it, top dress it, and then it'll be ready to actually have that new growth through the rest of September into October and get itself ready for the winter. One of the things I've been banging on about a lot on this channel over the past few weeks is about doing things for the right reasons to your lawn and doing those things for the right reasons in your garden. You need to think about what are you actually doing to the space and why are you doing it. So today we are going to be scarifying this space, and for the most part we are going to be pulling out a little bit of thatch, but the main reason we're really going to be scarifying it is to thin out the sward. You can see that it is fairly dense and there is a little bit of thatch. If we leave this really dense over the winter, we're going to leave it susceptible to disease and moss, which are two things we definitely don't want to be having. But we're going to be reseeding it as well, just to make sure that we're finding that perfect balance, because your lawn can often be either too dense or too thin, and getting into that Goldilocks zone is a little bit of a balancing game. So less waffling, let's get on with this renovation. Let's get the lawnmower, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to scalp this space. So I'm going to be using the Iron Health 36 volt cordless scarifier today. I'm going to start off on the highest setting, which is effectively going to vertically cut the lawn. It's going to cut any of that lateral growth, any of the grass plants that are lying flat. It's going to give them a cut. It'll cut through any of the weed grasses. And also as well, we did incorporate some fescue into this back in spring this year. So it's going to cut any rhizomes potentially as well, especially as we drop the level of it. So you want to always start on the highest setting and then just incrementally drop it down until you're satisfied that you've taken out as much dead material and as much lateral growth as you can. And you do want to be going in an alternate direction to the way you usually cut. However, I'm going to go the same way that I cut just to begin with, because going up and down this slope is a bit of a nightmare, but I might just save that for either the second or the third pass. And for anyone wondering why I didn't buy the attachment for the Alice, the actual scarifier with the spring tines, you can't really do it one-handed either, can you? Just giving it another cut. Now that we've cleared the sward out a little bit, the lawnmower's not going to struggle as much because it's less spongy underfoot, because we've taken out a lot of that material already. So I've dropped it down to the lowest setting and given it its final scalp. You're going to want to scalp your lawn as low as you can for a few different reasons. One of those reasons is the fact that it's going to make it less taxing on your scarifier as it's cutting down into the soil profile as you start to bring that level down. And the second reason as well is that because I'm going to be overseeding this space, I want to almost stress out the existing grass plants that are here, because that way they're going to take longer to recover. It's going to give those new seeds time to germinate and establish themselves in the lawn. So the seed that I'm getting on the space with then is the exact same seed that I've chucked down on this lawn as part of this renovation too. And that's because this lawn is predominantly ryegrass with a little bit of fescue, and it's exactly the same kettle of fish on that lawn over there. So this mix from the grass people is 80% ryegrass, 20% creeping fescue. Now creeping fescue is going to enable the lawn to be better sort of knitted together, particularly during trickier spells, and that type of grass is prunable as well. So every time I do something like scarification or verticutting like I've just done on the verge over there, what it's going to mean is it's going to cut those rhizomes, and it's going to enable those plants to start to multiply without too much seed having to go down. But because it is a predominantly ryegrass space, overseeding is key, because like I said at the start, we're trying to get that balance. Now it's too dense, we thin the sward out, but it's now too thin, and we have to thicken it back up using a little bit of seed. I'm not sure if I mentioned when I was putting the seed in the spreader, but it's the Grass People's Superstar back lawn or back garden grass seed mix. I think that's what it is anyway, but that's not the name that's important, it's the grass variety. So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to top dress the lawn. Now the cheapest way to do it is just to dump the compost down or the topsoil and just rake it around with a general sort of garden rake. However, if you want a little bit more convenience, or you've got a big lawn, then you can get yourself one of these, just a compost spreader. I know you can get some cheaper alternatives, but it does kind of do a fairly decent job. So like I said, you can rake it out or just use one of these, save yourself a little bit of time. All the compost seems to tilt to the side once the angle gets a little bit too steep, so I have to resort to doing this like I did with the Scarifying before. So there we go, the renovation is complete. The only thing we need to do to this space now is to water it in, but nature's going to do that for us. At time of recording, it does give a cold week coming up. However, there is a little bit of rain, and as we get towards the back end of September and into October, we are going to still have some warmer spells where a lot of this new seed can germinate, it can mature, and then hopefully this lawn will be ready to tackle the winter in much better stead than it was around about an hour ago. So thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, consider giving it a like, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing. And finally, thanks for watching.